Hello everyone, this is Roya, and I am going to be wrapping up in this video all of the books that I read in the first half of February. I do miraculously have 7 books here, but I don't have very much to say about most of them. So this video is mostly going to be pretty fast. Also, I did not dress up for this video at all because I'm cold and just whatever. So anyway, I'm going to start with the books that I kind of have the most to say about, whether it's good or bad. So firstly, we have the Absinthe Underground. I cannot talk every time. If you saw my review of this book, my review video of this book, I also did the same thing. I cannot freaking talk when I say its name. Okay, it must be the Fae messing with me. So, the Absinthe Underground by Jamie Pacton. This is about 2 best friends who secretly are in love with each other as well, and they go to the land of the Fae because a fairy wants them to steal Queen Mab's jewels, basically. So this was a really fun read, a really good book, a good adventure, and all of that, but I do wish that we got more to the story. For instance, we know the entire time that our 2 main characters are in love with each other, but there's not really a reason why they didn't tell each other yet or anything. They just conveniently hadn't. There's not anything like stopping either of them from confessing to the other one, like nothing. So I kind of wanted more of a reason to be like, dude, just tell her and all of that, you know, and I felt like that was kind of missing. There are cats in this book. A cat stows away with them to the land of the Fae, and that makes it really funny and cute, and the characters were really good, but overall, I do have a full review video of this going more into it, but I really enjoyed this book. I just wish there was more to the story. Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf. This is about a woman who is a heartless, which means that her heart was taken out of her chest by a witch who can basically control her and pretty much make her do what she wants. So she is supposed to go and pretend to be a prospective bride to the prince and everything and she's supposed to go there under the guise of a noble woman and everything, and she's supposed to take the prince's heart, and if she gives the witch the prince's heart, she can actually get her own heart back and her friends' hearts too, the other heartless controlled by the same witch. So she has every reason to do this, but of course she falls in love with the prince and does not want to. So this was a really good book. I really like how snarky the main character is, and just there was a lot to it that I thought was really fun to read, but overall I wanted more out of the world. I thought that some of the stuff going on was not as well thought out as it could have been. Some of the reasons were given for things that are going on just could have had more to it as well, but overall this was a really, really fun book. It was really unputdownable, and the main character is like really just witty and snarky and always has something funny to say, and I just really enjoyed that. Now for my worst read of the month, The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. This was, there wasn't anything bad about it in terms of the writing or the story necessarily, that type of thing. It was, so quality-wise, good book, all of that, but the total absence of any actual female characters who are not objects was very apparent. So it's okay if the world of a story is a little bit, you know, sexist in that it creates conflict for the characters, that type of thing. That's fine. But here we have a book that is actually like sexist. Like every woman in this book, regardless of who they are, is basically an object. And every time something bad happens to a woman, we're not made to feel that woman's pain or anything. We are, it's always in the context of that poor man whose daughter is being tortured or whatever the thing is. Like it's always like that poor man. We never get the woman's perspective. We never get like what bad things happen to the woman for the woman, like nothing. And then finally towards the end of the book there's like I happened to notice that there's a part where it's saying that some men are screaming like little girls, and I was like, okay, dude, can we not with that? Like that type of remark always bothers me for a myriad of reasons. I didn't enjoy anything about the book enough for those things to not be as apparent to me and all of that. It was kind of generic and meh. So the fact that it also had this obvious sexist blah to it just really annoyed me, and I didn't even actually finish the entire book. I still had like 50 to 75 pages left. I got really far into it. I got like a good 600 page, almost 600 pages into the book, and I just could not read anymore because the sexism was just so annoying. If it hadn't been for that, it would have been a perfectly enjoyable read. Maybe I would have even given it 4 stars, but no, it gets 2. The Spirit Ring by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is a pretty normal fantasy book. I enjoyed reading it. I didn't enjoy it as much as her other books that I've read. It was pretty much just alright, not bad. But anyway, good book. I just don't really have anything to say about it. Same with Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams. It actually got a lot better than its prequel did as we kind of got further into the plot. All of that, but I still, even though I enjoyed reading this book, there wasn't really anything to it. It was pretty standard fantasy book, so I was kind of like, alrighty then. Quantum Thief by Hanu Rajaniemi. This is not a bad book. That was pretty interesting. It's about a man who is actually imprisoned, but like in his mind, so he doesn't know that that's where all of that. So it's definitely really weird. And so it was really interesting and unique that way, but overall I just don't really have any thoughts on it. It was kind of just a book. And finally, Notorious Sorcerer by Davina Evans. This was a more unique fantasy book, but I was so bored reading it. I don't know what it is about maybe the narrative style and the storytelling style. I'm not sure what it was exactly that made this book so difficult to get into, but it did. I had a really hard time getting into this book. I was so bored. Like, even when like a more conflict-ridden part happens, I'm kind of like, okay. Like, it's like this whole book was just written in kind of a blasé way that I just couldn't really get behind. So overall, like, nothing bad about this book that I, felt was of note. It's just, it was just okay, and I didn't really enjoy reading it at all. So anyway, those are the books that I read in the first half of February. Let me know if you've read any of these, have any thoughts on them, any of that, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.